Chosen one, quiet your soul for this moment because heaven is leaning close. You are not here by accident. You are not listening by coincidence. And you did not stumble into this word without reason. Something divine has been set in motion, and your spirit has been pulled into alignment to hear it right now. God's voice is speaking, steady, deep, unshakable. It cuts through the distractions, through the noise of your day, through the doubts that have been pressing in. It is not the shout of the crowd. It is the whisper that meets you in silence. It is the same whisper Elijah heard on the mountain after the fire and the wind. That still small voice is calling you, and your soul already recognizes it. You have felt the pull, the ache, the knowing that your life is meant for something greater than what you see. That ache is not emptiness, it is calling. It is God reminding you that you are His, set apart, chosen, marked for a purpose larger than your imagination. Pause and treat this moment as holy. Before you continue, make it a sacred act. Press like as a sign that you agree with heaven's word, and type 777 in the comments as a declaration. That number is not random. It is fullness. It is covenant. It is heaven's signal that you are opening your spirit to divine alignment. Do not treat it as just another internet action. Treat it as an altar. When you write it, you are saying, Lord, I am listening, I am present, I am ready, and subscribe as an outward sign that you are joining the remnant of the 144,000 chosen, a people who do not bow to noise, but lean into the whisper. This is not community by accident. This is family by design. Look at your life right now. You have walked through seasons where you felt buried, hidden, unseen, but what feels like burial has actually been planting. Seeds always look lost when they are under the soil, but they are only beginning. The pressure, the darkness, the waiting, all of it has been preparation for this moment. God has been shaping your spirit in silence, like a craftsman chiseling stone, like a potter pressing clay, like a gardener waiting for green to break the ground. That restlessness you have carried is not failure. It is the signal that the ground is about to crack open and life is about to rise. Think of Moses. He was not chosen because he was eloquent. He was not chosen because he was perfect. He stuttered, he doubted, he argued with God. Yet it was in his ordinary day, tending sheep, that he turned aside to see a bush that burned and was not consumed. That turn changed history. He listened, and a nation was freed. That is the pattern of God. He does not require polish. He does not demand perfection. He asks for presence. He asks for ears to hear. He asks for a heart willing to pause, notice, and say yes. The same is true for you. God is not asking you to have all the answers. He is not asking you to solve every problem or carry every weight. He is asking you to give Him your attention. He is asking you to lean in, to tune your soul like a radio set to the right frequency. The world shouts, bills pile up, distractions demand, doubts rise, but His voice is the one frequency your spirit was built to hear. When you lean in, when you allow His words to sink deeper than the noise, everything shifts. The chaos loses volume, the weight lifts, the fog begins to clear. You see the path He has been carving all along. This is why today matters, because ignoring His voice is not neutral. It is choosing noise over clarity, confusion over peace, wandering over direction. Jonah ran, and the storm followed him into the sea. But mercy followed too. God does not abandon His chosen. His voice will chase you, even into the belly of a fish, until you remember who you are. You do not need to wait for storms to turn you back. You can say yes now. You can choose to listen now. God is calling you into alignment with His rhythm, not the frantic pace of the world. Alignment with His truth, not the lies you have believed. Alignment with His vision, not the smallness you have accepted. Like a riverbed carved over years, your life has grooves that grace is meant to fill. Stop fighting the current. Stop resisting the pull. Rivers do not argue with gravity. They flow. Your spirit knows the direction already. Let His current carry you. This will mean release. Release of the weights that have disguised themselves as safety. Release of the fears that have been allowed to nest in your mind. Release of bitterness that has hardened in your chest. Those things are not your name. They are not your future. They are not your identity. Your identity is found in what God calls you, not in what has tried to break you. You are beloved. You are chosen. You are marked. You are His. Say it aloud right now, even if your voice trembles. I am chosen. I am listening. I am ready. Speak it until your bones believe it. Speak it until your mind bows to it. Speak it until your atmosphere shifts. Words matter. Proverbs tells us life and death are in the power of the tongue. Speak life over your spirit and watch your soul rise to match. David was a shepherd boy, overlooked, dismissed, forgotten. But God saw a king where others saw a child. God still sees what others miss. He sees you. Not the surface, not the failures, not the fears. He sees the fire he planted inside you. That fire is still burning, even if it has been buried under years of disappointment or delay. His voice is fanning it now, stirring embers into flame. That flame is your purpose, your clarity, your courage. It is your yes. This is your hour, not tomorrow, not someday, now. The voice of God is calling, and your spirit knows it. Do not harden your heart. Do not delay your answer. Hebrews reminds us, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Today is the day of response. Today is the day of surrender. Today is the day of alignment. Mark it. Write 777 below as a covenant act. Do it as a way of saying, this moment is mine. This word is mine. I agree with heaven. Each time you write it, each time you say it, you are anchoring your soul in truth. You are declaring to the noise, to the fear, to the doubt, I choose the whisper of God over every other sound. Chosen one, this is the beginning of something new. Your yes today is the key that unlocks tomorrow's doors. Your obedience in this moment is the seed that will grow into the breakthrough you have prayed for. Do not ignore it. Do not let it pass. You are not just hearing words, you are receiving destiny. Heaven is speaking, and your name is on its lips. Chosen one, your spirit can feel the weight of these words because they are not just ideas. They are living truth pressing into your heart. You know deep down that you were made for more than just survival, more than routine, more than carrying the same burdens day after day. That stirring you cannot ignore, that whisper you cannot shake, is God's invitation to step into a higher place. The world has tried to tell you who you are, too small, too broken, too late, but heaven's voice declares something different. Heaven calls you chosen, marked, destined. You were not born to blend into the background. You were born to shine with a light that darkness cannot put out. Do you remember how David was overlooked by his own family, left with the sheep when Samuel came to anoint a king? Everyone else thought he was insignificant, but God's eyes were fixed on him. The same is true for you. People may underestimate you. Circumstances may try to bury you, but God sees what others cannot. He sees the courage inside you, the faith that still beats, the fire that still burns. That is why he keeps calling. That is why his voice will not leave you alone. Because you are part of a plan bigger than your fears, stronger than your failures, and more glorious than your imagination. The process you are in has not been easy. There have been nights when you cried out and felt like heaven was silent. There were mornings when you wondered if your prayers even reached the sky. But silence is not absence. Hiddenness is not abandonment. Just as a seed must break open underground before it pushes through to the light, your spirit has been breaking, stretching, preparing. God has been working in secret, shaping you in ways you could not see. And now he is saying, rise. The season of hiding is ending. The time of revealing has come. Think about Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, imprisoned for crimes he did not commit. To everyone watching, his life looked wasted, forgotten. But in reality, God was positioning him. Every setback was a setup for his purpose. In one moment, Joseph was lifted from prison to palace. That is what God's voice does. It redeems, it repositions, it restores. Your trials are not proof that God has left you. They are proof that he is preparing you for a level of influence and purpose you would not believe if you saw it all at once. Do not despise the season you are in. Do not curse the process. It is chiseling away what cannot go with you into your next chapter. It is building resilience, humility, and faith that will anchor you when God elevates you. Because elevation without foundation is collapse. But you, chosen one, are being built on the rock. Storms may come. Winds may blow, but you will not fall, because your roots are deep in him. God is also calling you to release. Release the grudges that poison your soul. Release the shame that chains your heart. Release the fear that whispers you are not enough. These are not your inheritance. These are weights designed to keep you from rising. The cross already paid for your freedom. Jesus declared, "It is finished." That means your debt is cancelled, your past is forgiven, your chains are broken. You are not a prisoner anymore. You are a child of the King, called to walk in liberty. The enemy wants you distracted, tangled in lies, caught in cycles of doubt. That is why the noise of life feels relentless. Bills stack up, relationships strain, health wavers, thoughts spiral. But remember this, no amount of noise can silence God's voice inside you. His word is sharper than any sword, stronger than any storm, deeper than any wound. You are tuned to his frequency, and even in the chaos, you can hear him. He is saying, "Peace, be still." He is saying, "I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future." He is saying, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Chosen one, this is not the hour to shrink back. This is not the time to question whether you are worthy. The very fact that you are here, listening, breathing, is proof that God is not finished with you. He has preserved you through things that should have destroyed you. He has carried you when you thought you could not go on. He has kept your heart beating, your faith flickering, your hope alive. That means there is more. That means your assignment is not over. Now is the time to take the next step. Not the whole staircase, not the entire plan, just the next step. Maybe it is a prayer whispered with trembling lips. Maybe it is forgiving someone who wounded you. Maybe it is saying yes to an opportunity that scares you. Whatever it is, do not wait until you feel ready. Faith is not about feeling ready. It is about trusting the one who is ready. God does not need your perfection, only your permission. He needs your yes. Remember Peter stepping out of the boat. The waves were raging, the wind was fierce, but when Jesus said, "Come," that one word was enough to carry him above the storm. The water did not change, but Peter did. And when his faith wavered, Jesus reached out his hand and lifted him. That is your story too. You may wobble, you may stumble, but his hand is already extended. You will not sink when you walk on his word. So listen closely. Heaven is speaking, the Spirit is stirring. Your soul already knows this is truth. Do not harden your heart. Do not turn away, lean in, agree, say yes. Because when you listen to his voice, you are not just surviving life, you are transforming it. You are not just another person in the crowd. You are chosen, called, set apart for such a time as this. Chosen one, feel this truth. You are not ordinary. The breath in your lungs carries eternity. The Spirit of God is alive in you, and that means you are marked for transformation. Every trial, every tear, every season that seemed unbearable has been shaping you into a vessel that can carry light into dark places. You have wondered why the battles were so heavy, why the waiting felt endless, why the silence of God cut so deep. It was not punishment. It was preparation. What looked like delay was design. What felt like breaking was building. You are stronger than you realize because heaven has been training you in secret. Look at David before he ever faced Goliath. He fought lions and bears when no one was watching. He did not know those private victories would prepare him for a public triumph. The same is happening in your life. The struggles you have faced in silence, the nights no one saw you pray through, the battles you fought alone. Those moments were not wasted. They were sharpening your spirit, training your hands for war, strengthening your faith. Now you are standing on the edge of a shift, and God is saying, "Do not fear. The same hand that held you in the dark will carry you into the light." But here is what you must grasp. Transformation requires listening. You cannot cling to the old and step into the new at the same time. God's voice is calling you forward, but you have to release the echoes of the past. The mistakes that shame you, the voices that mocked you, the disappointments that bruised you, those are not chains anymore unless you choose to hold them. His word declares, "Whom the Son sets free is free indeed." Freedom is already yours. All you must do is walk in it. Think of Esther. She was an orphan, overlooked, dismissed by the world, yet God placed her in a palace, positioned her to save her people. She did not ask for that assignment. She did not feel qualified for it. But when the moment came, she listened, she acted, and her obedience shifted history. The same God who called Esther is calling you. You are being positioned for influence, for impact, for a purpose that goes beyond yourself. You do not need to understand it all. You only need to hear and obey. This is why the enemy fights your focus so fiercely. He wants you drowning in distraction, tangled in worry, consumed by doubt. He knows that if you hear clearly, if you listen deeply, if you align with God's rhythm, nothing can stop you. That is why the noise has been so loud lately. But remember this, noise is not stronger than voice. The whisper of God outweighs every shout of the world. Even in the storm, his voice speaks, peace be still. And when he speaks, creation obeys. Your spirit is designed to hear him. It is like a frequency only you can tune into. You have felt it. Those moments when a truth pierced your soul, when a verse leapt off the page, when a whisper in prayer answered a question you never spoke aloud. That is God, that is his voice. And he is saying to you now, do not ignore this, lean in. I am speaking life into you. Chosen one, you must understand the cost of ignoring his call. This is not about punishment, God is not cruel. But when you turn away from his voice, you are choosing to stumble in the dark. You are choosing to carry weights you were never meant to hold. You are choosing chaos over peace, confusion over clarity, wandering over destiny. Do not let that be your story. Your purpose is too great, your assignment too vital, your light too needed. Instead, picture yourself stepping into alignment. It is like a key clicking into place, unlocking doors that were shut, paths that were blocked, opportunities that seemed impossible. When you hear God and move with him, things begin to shift. A conversation appears at the right time. A closed door suddenly swings open. A new strength rises in your chest. These are not coincidences. They are fingerprints of God guiding you forward. Remember Joseph, betrayed, imprisoned, forgotten. Yet every step was leading him to the palace. He could not see the plan, but God was writing it. The same is true for you. You may not see how the pieces fit, but they do. Every heartbreak, every delay, every disappointment is being woven into a tapestry you will one day step back and recognize as beauty. What once looked like fragments will reveal itself as foundation. This is why you cannot stop now. Do not let fear hold you. Do not let doubt silence you. Do not let comfort trap you. God is calling you into the unknown because that is where miracles live. Abraham left everything familiar to follow a promise he could not see. He did not have a map, but he had a word. And that word was enough. You have that word too. God's voice is enough to guide you, enough to sustain you, enough to carry you. Say yes. Say it with your mouth. Say it with your choices. Say it with your faith. Yes to release. Yes to freedom. Yes to purpose. Yes to destiny. Let your spirit echo heaven's call. Here I am, Lord. Speak, for your servant is listening. This is not the end of your story. This is the threshold of a new chapter. And your yes is the key that will open it. Chosen one, every moment you lean into God's voice, you are stepping closer to the life he designed for you. This journey is not about chance. It is not random. It is intentional, crafted by the one who knows every hair on your head, every tear you have shed, every prayer you whispered in the dark. He has not missed a single detail. Even the things you thought were wasted, the delays, the heartbreaks, the battles, are part of the story he is weaving. And his story for you is one of redemption, not ruin, one of promise, not despair. Think of the woman at the well. She carried shame, secrets, and rejection. By the world's measure, she was unworthy. Yet Jesus met her in the heat of the day when no one else would be near her, and he spoke life into her. With one conversation, her perspective shifted. She went from hiding to proclaiming, from shame to testimony. That is the power of God's voice. It does not just speak to you, it transforms you. It takes what the world uses to disqualify you and turns it into the very platform that carries his glory. The same shift is waiting for you. You may feel buried under the weight of mistakes or disappointments, but his voice cuts through. He is saying, you are not what you have done. You are not the labels others put on you. You are mine, and I am calling you higher. That truth, if you receive it, will unlock freedom you have been craving. Because his voice does not condemn, it liberates. His voice does not chain, it breaks chains. His voice does not push you away, it draws you in. But here is the challenge. You must respond. God's voice is not background noise. It is an invitation. Every time you hear him, you are standing at a crossroads. Will you step forward or will you stay the same? Will you cling to the familiar, even if it is painful, or will you trust him enough to move into the unknown? Remember, Peter, He did not walk on water by analyzing it, by planning it, by waiting for the perfect moment. He stepped out because Jesus said one word, "Come." That word carried enough power to hold him above the storm. The same word is holding you now. This is why the enemy attacks your confidence. He wants you to believe you cannot change, that you are too weak, too late, too flawed. But God is not asking for perfection. He is asking for willingness. He is asking for your yes. And when you give him your yes, he supplies the strength, the courage, the wisdom. As Paul wrote, his strength is made perfect in weakness. That means your weakness is not a disqualification. It is an opportunity for his power to be revealed. Chosen one, you must also know that obedience unlocks blessing. Not because God is a harsh ruler demanding performance, but because his way leads to life. His instructions are not burdens, they are protection. When he calls you to forgive, it is not to minimize your pain, but to free your heart from poison. When he calls you to let go of fear, it is not to dismiss your struggle, but to lift the weight that crushes you. When he calls you to trust, it is not to deny reality, but to align you with his reality, which is always greater. Look at Gideon. He saw himself as the least in his family, weak and hidden. Yet when God spoke, he called him mighty warrior. That title was not based on Gideon's circumstances, it was based on God's perspective. And when Gideon aligned with that word, nations were delivered. Do you see? What God calls you is always higher than what you call yourself. His voice names you according to destiny, not history. And when you agree with his name over you, everything begins to change. There is a reason you are restless. Your soul knows there is more. That restlessness is a holy signal, a reminder that you cannot stay where you are. You are not meant to settle for cycles of fear, shame, or smallness. You are meant to rise, to walk boldly in purpose, to carry light into dark places, and that requires listening, obeying, moving when he speaks. So pause for a moment right now. Breathe. Ask him, Lord, what are you saying to me? And listen. Maybe it will come as a verse that burns in your heart. Maybe it will be a thought that carries peace. Maybe it will be a nudge to act, to release, to trust. Whatever it is, take it seriously. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let it take root. His voice is not abstract. It is personal, specific, alive. Chosen one, this is not just about you. When you listen to God's voice, the ripple extends far beyond your own life. Families are changed. Communities are shifted. Atmospheres are transformed. Just as Esther's yes saved a nation, your obedience may impact generations you will never meet. Your life is not small when it is aligned with God's plan. It becomes a beacon, a living testimony that he is still speaking, still moving, still redeeming. The world needs your yes. Heaven is waiting for your agreement. Do not ignore the whisper. Do not dismiss the nudge. Do not harden your heart. This is your moment to align, to step forward, to say, "Here I am, Lord. Speak, and I will listen." The door is open. The call is clear. The voice is speaking, and your destiny is waiting on the other side of your response. Chosen one, feel the weight of this truth. You are standing in a moment that is larger than your doubts, stronger than your fears, and more certain than your past. The Spirit of God has been pursuing you, not to condemn you, but to awaken you. That stirring you feel in your chest is not coincidence. It is the divine tug of heaven pulling you into alignment with destiny. For too long, you have let the noise of this world drown out the whisper of God. But his whisper has not stopped, and today he is saying, "My child, I am still speaking. Listen, for this is the hour of awakening." Think of Samuel as a boy lying in the temple. He did not recognize God's voice at first. He thought it was Eli calling him in the night. But as he listened, as he said, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening," his life was forever changed. That is your posture now. You may not always know what his voice sounds like, but your spirit recognizes it. Every time you pause in silence, every time you lean into prayer, every time you choose faith over fear, you are tuning your heart to his frequency. And when you do, his words cut through the fog like a lighthouse beam, guiding you home. You have carried burdens that were never meant to define you. Guilt from mistakes, pain from betrayals, fear of failure. These have sat heavy on your shoulders, whispering that you are not enough. But God's voice breaks those lies. He is saying, "You are not your failures. You are not your wounds. You are mine, and I have chosen you." Do you understand what that means? It means the labels others put on you are powerless. It means your past cannot cancel your calling. It means your future is secure in the one who authored it. Look at Paul. He was once Saul, a persecutor, blind to truth, consumed by anger. Yet one encounter with God's voice on the road to Damascus turned him into a vessel of grace, carrying the gospel to nations. If God could transform Saul into Paul, what do you think he can do with you? No past is too dark. No wound is too deep. No life is too broken. His voice has the power to rewrite stories, to redeem what was lost, to resurrect what seemed dead. But you must be willing to move. Hearing his voice is not enough if you do not respond. Faith without action is empty. God is not just giving you words to comfort you. He is giving you instructions to change you. Maybe he is nudging you to forgive. Maybe he is urging you to let go of fear. Maybe he is prompting you to step into something new. Whatever it is, do not delay. Every yes to God builds momentum. Every act of obedience opens new doors. This is why alignment matters so deeply. Imagine a river flowing strong and steady. If you fight against it, you exhaust yourself and go nowhere. But if you align with its current, it carries you farther than you could ever go on your own. That is what happens when you align with God's voice. Striving ends. Strain lifts. What once felt impossible becomes possible because you are no longer rowing in your own strength. You are flowing in His. Think of Noah. The world mocked him for building an ark on dry land. His obedience looked foolish to everyone else, but he trusted the voice he heard. And that obedience preserved his family, birthed a new beginning, and proved God's faithfulness. You may be building something right now that others cannot understand. You may feel the sting of ridicule or doubt, but if God has spoken it, hold fast. His voice will vindicate you. His promise will sustain you. Chosen one, God's voice is also your weapon. Life will throw battles your way. Fear, discouragement, temptation, opposition. But His word cuts sharper than any sword. When Jesus faced the wilderness, He defeated every lie of the enemy by declaring it is written. That same authority is in you. When doubt whispers, declare His promises. When fear rises, speak His truth. When the enemy tells you you are weak, declare, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. His voice in your mouth is power. It shifts atmospheres, it silences lies, it makes darkness flee. And do not forget this. Your obedience is not only about you. When you say yes to God's voice, ripple effects move through your family, your community, even generations not yet born. Think of Ruth. She left behind everything familiar to follow the whisper of God, and her yes positioned her in the lineage of David and ultimately Jesus. One act of obedience can echo through eternity. Do not underestimate your yes. Right now, heaven is leaning in. Angels are watching, the Spirit is stirring, and your soul is awake. This is not a time to hesitate. This is a time to anchor yourself in truth, to speak life over your journey, to walk boldly where God is leading. You are not just surviving, you are becoming. You are not just enduring, you are rising. And as you rise, others will see the light of God reflected in you. Chosen one, do not let this moment pass. God's voice is calling. The only question is how you will respond. Will you stay in the comfort of what you know, or will you step into the unknown where His glory waits? The next chapter of your story is being written even now. Say yes, lean in, listen, because when you do, everything changes. Chosen one, your journey has not been an accident. Every detour, every valley, every storm has been part of a divine design shaping you into who you are meant to be. The battles you thought would break you were the very battles building you. The tears you thought were wasted watered the soil of your destiny. The silence you mistook for abandonment was preparation, a holy pause before breakthrough. God has never left you. Even in the moments you felt most alone, His voice was near, steady and unshakable, whispering strength into your weary soul. Think of Job. He lost everything, family, wealth, health, yet the voice of God still carried him, not with explanations, but with presence. When God finally spoke, His words reminded Job that he was bigger than the pain, greater than the questions, sovereign over the storm. And Job emerged not destroyed, but restored. That is your story too. What looked like devastation is turning into restoration. What felt like the end is becoming a beginning. God's voice is carrying you through, anchoring you in hope, pulling you toward promise. There have been times you asked, why me? Why this? Why now? But chosen one, Those questions are not signs of weak faith. They are evidence of your humanity. Even Jesus in Gethsemane cried out, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me." Yet he listened, he surrendered, and in his yes, salvation was born. Your surrender may not change every circumstance immediately, but it changes you. It aligns your will with heaven's, and that alignment carries power to transform not only your life, but the lives connected to you. Do not despise the process. Do not despise the pruning. Jesus said in John 15 that the Father prunes every branch that bears fruit so it may bear even more. Pruning is not punishment. It is preparation for greater growth. The cutting away hurts, but it is necessary. God is removing what cannot sustain you, what cannot accompany you into the next season. Let him. Trust his hand even when it feels sharp, because his intention is never to harm you but to make you flourish. Chosen one, you must also see that your struggle has not been private. Heaven has been watching. Angels have been assigned to guard you. And though the enemy has tried to crush you with fear, God has preserved you for this very hour. Just as Daniel was thrown into the lion's den but came out untouched, so will you. The mouths of the lions may roar, but they cannot devour you. Why? Because God's voice has declared protection over you. No weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment will fall. This is why you are still standing. Others walked through storms and gave up, but you endured. Others faced trials and turned back, but you pressed on. Not because you are stronger in yourself, but because his voice held you when your own strength ran out. Every scar you carry is evidence of survival, a testimony that God's hand has never left you. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are a vessel of purpose. Look at Moses. He doubted himself, stuttered when he spoke, felt unqualified to lead. Yet God chose him to stand before Pharaoh, to split seas, to carry a nation into freedom. Not because Moses was flawless, but because Moses was willing to listen. God is not asking for perfection from you either. He is asking for presence. He is asking for your ear, your heart, your yes. If you give him that, he will supply everything else: courage when you are afraid, wisdom when you are uncertain, strength when you are weak. And when you listen, chosen one, your whole atmosphere shifts. The noise fades, the chaos stills, the path clears. You begin to notice God's fingerprints everywhere, in conversations that come at the right time, in opportunities that open unexpectedly, in peace that makes no sense to the natural mind. These are not random. They are confirmations. They are reminders that you are walking in step with his plan. This is why you cannot ignore his call. To ignore is to forfeit clarity, to reject peace, to delay destiny. But to listen is to live fully, to rise boldly, to step into the flow of heaven's design. Every time you say yes, every time you act on his word, you are building a life that reflects his glory. You are not just existing, you are shining. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Your story is not over. What God has spoken will come to pass. His promises are not fragile, they are fire. They cannot be quenched by delay, by failure, or by opposition. Heaven's word over you is eternal, and it will not return void. You have been chosen not for comfort, but for calling. Not for hiding, but for revealing. Not for smallness, but for greatness in his name. The question is not whether God is speaking. The question is whether you will listen, whether you will respond, whether you will step into what has been waiting for you all along. The door is open. The voice is clear. Your destiny is calling. Will you answer? Chosen one, this is the moment where everything you have endured begins to make sense. The trials, the nights of wrestling, the seasons of silence, they were not wasted. They were building something in you that cannot be shaken. God has been shaping your spirit, chiseling away doubt, refining your faith, preparing you to carry more than you thought possible. You may not have understood it then, but now you can see glimpses of why. Every battle taught you resilience. Every tear taught you trust. Every delay taught you patience. These lessons have not only formed you, they have aligned you with destiny. Look at Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned. If you paused his story at any point along the way, it looked like failure. But each step was carrying him closer to the palace. Each trial was shaping him for leadership he could not yet see. And when the moment came, he was ready, not in spite of his pain, but because of it. The same is true for you. The very things that tried to destroy you are the things God will use to position you. The pit is not your end, it is the pathway to promise. This is why you cannot quit now. You are too close. The enemy wants to convince you that you are finished, that your best days are behind you, that your struggles disqualify you. But those are lies. God is not done. His voice is declaring over you, "Behold, I am doing a new thing." Do you not perceive it? The new is already stirring. The shift is already happening. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel it. The restlessness in your spirit, the longing for more, the sense that something is about to break open. That is heaven signaling change. Do not be afraid of the unknown. The unknown is where faith grows. Abraham left everything familiar, stepping into a land he had never seen because God's voice told him to go. He did not have a map, but he had a promise. And that promise was enough. You have that same assurance. You may not know every detail, but you know the one who holds the future. Trust him. He is not leading you to destruction. He is leading you to destiny. Chosen one, it is time to release what no longer serves you. The bitterness you've held on to, the fear that has chained you, the doubt that has whispered you're not enough. Lay them down. They are weights, not identity. You are not called to carry them. You are called to rise above them. Think of the Israelites leaving Egypt. They could not carry their old chains into the promised land. They had to step out of slavery to step into freedom. The same is true for you. Let go of what binds you so you can embrace what blesses you. God's voice is not just calling you forward, it is empowering you for what's next. He is giving you vision where you had confusion, strength where you had weakness, courage where you had fear. He is pouring His Spirit into you, igniting your purpose, awakening your gifts. Do not minimize yourself. Do not shrink back. You carry the light of God, and that light shifts rooms, heals hearts, breaks chains. When you walk into alignment, you are not just living your life, you are carrying His presence into every space you enter. And remember this, obedience creates overflow. When Peter cast his net at Jesus' word after a night of failure, the catch was so abundant it nearly sank the boat. That miracle was not about fish, it was about trust. When you act on God's voice, when you move even when it feels pointless, He multiplies beyond what you imagined. Doors open, opportunities align, relationships heal, provision flows. This is the fruit of obedience. Chosen one, you are not ordinary. You are chosen, called, set apart. Heaven has stamped your life with purpose, and no force on earth can erase it. Do not ignore the voice that has carried you this far. Lean into it now more than ever. Because this is not just another season. This is the season where everything shifts. The old is falling away, the new is rising, and you are standing in the middle of it, ready to step into the fullness of who God created you to be.